There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, this is Weston.
Hey, and I'm Joseph with Seventh Day Slumber, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Keep it locked.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to have Joseph and Weston of Seventh Day Slumber. And Seventh Day Slumber hail from Nashville, Tennessee, and the legendary hard rock band is on tour with the mighty Chris Jericho and Fozzy. That is right now, correct, guys? Let's get ready to kick off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're excited, man. It's going to be awesome.
Also, folks, please check out Seventh Day Slumber's new video and single, Halos, and album, Death by Admiration. And Halos, if you've not checked this single out in video, it's heavy, very heavy for people who are going through any type of, hard struggles, as I say. So check this out. It may hit a nerve with you to help you through some things. So, guys, welcome to the podcast, man. Glad to have you on here finally.
Yeah. No, dude. We're hanging out at the house in Nashville. We're doing some work in the studio. Just kind of we're doing a hard version of a Christmas song called "Underneath the Christmas Tree" by Kelly Clarkson, and we're doing a metal version of it. So we've been in the studio. It's gonna be pretty epic, man.
Joseph hasn't announced this yet, but they have me on there as guest vocals. He's not announced that.
That's right.
But no, I'm just kidding.
Dude, it would have been so cool if we could have got. So my buddy, it's a funny thing. My buddy Robert is actually the guy who produced Kelly Clarkson's the original song, and he literally lives up the road from me, and there used to be a band called Pillar, and I don't know if you're familiar with that band Pillar. Well, the drummer Lester's a friend of mine. He lives up the road too. They both are. He plays drums now for Kelly Clarkson, and Robert, the dude who produced it, that's a really good friend of mine. I was like, man, that I don't care I don't care if I got judged. I don't care if people put me down for it. If Kelly would sing on a track with us, especially as heavy, and the version we did has breakdowns, like brutal breakdowns and everything, it would have been awesome. I'm not giving up yet, man.
Yeah, especially to have her on her own cover that you guys are doing. That'd be badass, actually.
Dude, I don't know how much it would cost to get her on, or if she would just, sometimes people, they dig what you're doing and they'll be like, yeah, man, I'll be a part of it. But if she was like charging for a feature,
no,
I ain't got it. Let me just put it to you like that.
I
don't got that Kelly Clarkson money.
Hey, we can buy some tacos,
Yeah.
Arby's, whatever you want. Some Chinese food, Mexican food, whatever you want. We'll go get it. There you go.
Yeah.
How excited are you guys to have this new album, Death by Admiration, out now, guys? How's it feel to have this album out finally?
It's super rad, especially for me because it's the first album that I wrote on, really. And so our drummer Blaze and I, we co-wrote a big chunk of the album, and so I'm pretty proud of it. It's been had a lot of good reception, and it's been awesome. Really pleased with it.
People, the response, people love it, and Blaze and Weston did a lot of the writing, and it was co-produced by Kellen McGregor from Memphis Mayfire, and he's a beast, and he also mixed the entire record. But man, just to hear some of the songs that they were coming back with, and I write most of the lyrics, but when Blaze he was letting me hear some of those lyrics, and I was like, dude, we got to use this. And I was like, wait, hold on, we got to use that. hold on, we got to use this. And before I knew it, these dudes had pretty much written the record, and I got, I came in with about, 50% of the lyrics, but a lot of the vocal melodies and all the guitar and stuff, Weston and Blaze did all of that.
All right, so Weston, let me ask you the $1 million question. How does it feel to see the reins let go a little bit, to let you and Blaze finally say, all right, we can ride on this one? How does it feel to see what you guys are wanting to express come to life finally?
It's really special because I've only been in the band going on 4 years now, and Seventh Day Slumber's been around for a while, really well-established band with a very, unique sound. And so it was surprising that a lot of how much kind of creative freedom I was able to have. I was cool with it. It was like, I'd be fun if I played guitar, and write some stuff, but it was really cool that I'd present a demo and everybody liked it. Everybody went through with it and just kind of, or we'd co-write something and everybody dig it, to the point where, like I said earlier, Blaze and I, we came up with, musically, like a good chunk of the album. And so I'm just pretty thrilled that everybody just was kind of on board with it, and everybody in the band. And like I said, the reception's been really cool too, because, it is a little bit different from what's come out before, but, everybody's just kind of on board with it, and it's really awesome.
What about you, Joseph? What about letting go those restraints a little bit, man? How did it feel to not have a lot of burden on you writing all these songs and everything, man, for once?
Honestly, man, I took it as a relief, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah,
we've been around a long time. We've got 10 rock out. We got 13 albums out, and 10 of them are hard rock albums. And when you look on Wikipedia, it's like Christian rock, the genres are Christian rock, hard rock, alternative metal, and post grunge are the genres to describe Seventh Day Slumber. We've always been a hard rock band, is how I see it. It's a hard rock band that it's teetering on like some metal, because I've had a ton of metal influences growing up and stuff. But then I felt like when Weston and Blaze were bringing me this stuff, I was like, man, this is really where hard rock and metal are going. And I felt like, Seventh Day Slumber has always had a solid record. Every time we've released a record, it's always been a solid record. People love it. Fans love it. Hard rock fans love it. Rock fans love it. And even some hardcore metal fans will be like, yeah, I mean, that's not like hardcore metal, but I love it, that hard rock vibe. But hearing this new stuff, I was like, man, I don't want to be like so many other bands and kind of just be stuck in like, well, this is what I like, and this is how I how I see this how I see the musical what's the word I'm looking for, how I see it going, I may have it in my mind like this is how I want it, and kind of be stuck in my own ways.
This is my vision.
This is my vision. That's what I'm saying. And so, we're all in the band together, and dude, but when they brought it to me, I got to tell you, man, it wouldn't have been something that I would have written necessarily. Let me turn this phone off. Probably Kelly Clarkson right there, but you're more important right now. So no, but dude, I'm kind of talking in circles, but let me just tell you, I was relieved once again. It was like, dude, this is it. And I could see this moving forward, kind of like just being open-minded and just kind of like, let's write together. Let's see what happens. And it came out. Death by Admiration, that record to me is my favorite album that we've ever released. And not just because it's our new album and I'm promoting it. It's literally my favorite album that we've ever released.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because there's a whole lot of things with that. But I like seeing the excitement in your face right now. And Weston, I mean, you guys are excited about this. And it feels like out of all these albums, this is a breath of air for you guys, or a breath of fresh air, I should say, because it seems like it's opened your eyes and ears to new boundaries for this band.
Yeah, it has. I mean, Weston just brought me a new tune today that we were talking about doing, and we were just talking about it this morning, and I was like, man, we have someone who's going to be featured on well, we're already writing new music, and we have a couple of features that are going to be pretty amazing. I can't give those away right now, but anyway, and Weston's like, well, man, what kind of vibe are you feeling? And I told him, and dude, he went into the studio. There's this studio, and then there's one out in the back, and he went into that studio and just came back with another, just something, once again, something I wouldn't have written, but dude, I was like, that's it, man. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I feel like that it's made us even more relevant. You know, I don't want to say that our band wasn't relevant. But at the same time, I think maybe we kind of got caught into that early 2000s,
Yeah.
vibe. And so this is just a fresh new approach. Still Seventh Day Slumber, but a fresh new approach of it, to where our diehard fans are like, yeah, man, this is cool. It's still Seventh Day Slumber. And then there's a bunch of new fans coming that were like, man, I never thought of Seventh Day Slumber this way. Let me, So when I said I never thought of Seventh Day Slumber this way, I think about that guy who was in the friend zone. You know what I mean? And he comes back with a fresh pair of threads, man. And he's getting ready, and then all of a sudden that girl sees him, and she's like, "Dang, I never saw you that way." I feel like we got a lot of fans that are like, we were in the friend zone with them. They're like, Seventh Day Slumber's not a bad band, but not my thing. I just want to be friends.
Yeah.
And now they love us.
I know the friend zone thing. It's pretty bad.
Dude,
It's bad.
that friend zone, man.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Anyway, Death by Admiration is the band's, you said, 13th studio album. How good does it feel to be a band for 20 years and to have another album in the Seventh Day Slumber library? Because bands are just lucky enough to have maybe an EP and a full length, and that's it, and they're done.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, like I said, this record with Weston and Blaze writing has brought new excitement and new life. And even for me, doing it 20 years, I mean, I've done a lot in this industry already. Like I've toured in the tour buses, I've played the big shows, I've played the smaller shows, and I've bought a home, been successful, won the awards and those kinds of things, and that's crazy. But the most important thing for us is making a difference in people's lives. There are a lot of hurting people out there. I was a drug addict with no hope, man, and I've been locked up from Texas to California, man, in somebody's institution. Like, I lived a pretty rough life, and so for me, like, that's what the music was all about, is that even when I was younger, man, it was bands like like even Metallica, the shirt you're wearing right now, it was bands like that where there were times where honestly I felt like I didn't even want to live, man. I was going through some tough times, and it was music that kind of gave me that motivation to kind of keep going. But I kind of wanted to have that same impact on people, and so to be still doing it 20 years. But I will be honest, there was a time where I was like, man, I'm kind of tired, dude. Like, toured all over the world. I've done all this stuff. I just want to chill with my wife and, and hang out, man. But with this new record, it just brought this whole new excitement, a new fan base. Still, our old fans were excited. Our new fans are excited. And for me, it just gives me a whole new outlook, and the reception of Death by Admiration. Like, the people going, dude, that song hit me like in the feels, bro.
Yeah.
That means a lot to us.
Yeah, like I said, even Halos, man, that song got to me. I was just like, wow. Jeez. I sat here, and after I listened to it a couple times, I just had to sit here and reflect and just like, holy shit. It makes you think. It's like, wow. So all these people that just could have just reached out, or just asked for help. It doesn't make you less of a person if you need help. It just, I've had my own, I've had my own battles. I'm right there with you, Joseph. So I know.
Yeah, no, I mean, Weston, he, the record was already pretty much written, right? Like, but when you came to me with that one,
I think we had 9 songs and they are pretty much recorded and ready to go. And we were like, we need a 10th song. And I had this experience plus kind of an idea for a song. And the experience was we had a fan. His name was Joe. He was a wonderful dude. Every time we go to their venue, him and his family and his crew, they would always cook for us. They're in Louisiana, so
Oh man.
it was like gumbo and all that stuff, you know. And every time we'd see him, he was just a joy to be around. He was always messaging the band. He was always supporting us, you know. And then around Christmas, he had messaged me. This is I forget when. It was Christmas after. I don't know. It was Christmas time anyway.
yeah,
And he had messaged me. He's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And I looked at my phone, and I'm a terrible texter. You know what I mean? Like I've never been. I'm the phone call guy. I'm annoying like that. Like if I have something to say, I'll call you. And texting back anybody like no one special. My mom, like she gets like I'll respond to her 3 days later because I'll look at it and forget. That being said, I saw his text like I'll respond to him later. You know. And then he tragically passed away suddenly. Soon after that, I never got to talk to him again. You know, and all he wanted was just a few seconds of my time. You know, just to want to know how I was doing. You know, and I couldn't even spare that. So I lived with that for a while. And
we didn't know he was dealing with that.
Yeah.
Joe was his name is Joe Verdine, man. This dude was like the most genuine dude. He was a big old burly biker. Dude, just the coolest cat, man. But yeah, we didn't know Weston was dealing with that. We were all sad about Joe dying. He died suddenly, and but then when Weston told us, like, "Hey, man, I got to tell you something, dude. I've been living with the fact that I didn't write him back." He's like, "I didn't tell y'all, but he wrote me, and I never wrote him back." And I was like, "Man," and he's like, "And I have this song that I don't." He wrote a really cool, amazing guitar parts. And if you listen to Halos, you'll hear it. I mean, there's emotion in the music.
Yeah.
Like just the music itself speaks to you, man. And he said, "I want y'all to listen to that." And it was crazy because I had been dealing with my own thing. A friend of mine committed suicide. I've been helping her for years. Like just my wife and I, like just always being there for her, whatever she needed, like telling her you're not worthless. You know, all the things that she felt because, you know, people had told her that about her own self, and she started to believe it. And I'm like, "No, man, that's not who you are." And I, you know, and I would tell her that we love her and God loves her and that kind of thing. But we were just always there for her, man. But anyway, she went like, I'm done. I'm gonna end my life. And I was like, "No, you can't." And I called the cops on her because I knew she was gonna do it. And I didn't want to. Like, I'm no snitch, bro. I come from the old school, dude. You don't snitch, man. But this was my friend who was gonna die.
Yeah.
And so the cops got there. She was super, super mad at me, dude. She was pissed off, and she told me that like that she hated me and all this stuff. And then I ended up getting her into a treatment facility after that. We made up, and she went to a treatment facility, and then she cussed me out again after that. Well, then she texted me and said, "Hey, I need to talk to you right now." And I was mad because she had just cussed me out again. And I was like, "Dude," I told my wife, I'm like, "I'm not dealing with this right now."
Mm-hmm.
And 2 days later, she was gone, and I still have that text message. And I lived with that. Like Weston was talking about, he was living with it. I lived with that. My wife knew, but I didn't tell anybody else that I had that text message and that I never text her back. And I lived with it like, man, it was my fault. And I always tell people, man, you don't have to live with that. You know, it's not your fault. But at the same time, I felt that way. And I couldn't shake that feeling. And so this song Halos, it's about things left unsaid. And it could be something like, you know, we just went through all this COVID stuff. A lot of people lost loved ones to COVID. They had to die alone in hospitals and, you know, things like that, where all you could do is be on a phone call with someone as they passed.
Yeah.
And such a sad thing. The suicide rates are through the roof right now. 1 in every 4 young people from the age of like 14 to 24, 1 in 4 have seriously thought about taking their life recently. And then you have the overdose rates right now are just through the roof again. So people, what I'm saying is people are dealing with loss, and we just wanted something to be able to reach out to those people and tell them like, hey dude, we understand that you're hurting, but you can't carry this burden, man. Like, you have to forgive yourself, whatever it is. Maybe you did do something pretty jacked up, but at the end of the day, or said something pretty jacked up, but we all make mistakes. But at the end of the day, we wanted people to know like, hey, you don't have to carry that. And you know, Seventh Day Slumber's got love for you. And yeah, that's what Halos is really about. It's just to reach out songs. But the video is we wanted people that had lost a loved one to be able to honor that loved one that they've lost. And so the video Halos it has us playing, obviously, but the most of the content is crowdsourced. It's just our fans, and not even, maybe you don't even like Seventh Day Slumber, but you wanted to have your loved one honored. We included as much as we could in that.
Weston's backup vocals is badass.
Oh, dude,
so good, so good, man. I loved it. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And what took me by surprise about this song, man, it hit me because I thought of my dad. The night he passed away, you know, he cussed me out, cussed me till a fly wouldn't land on me, Joseph. I mean, I was like, what I do? I was like, I just came here and sit down and stuff, watching wrestling with my friends. I was like, what did I do?
Yeah.
He was sick anyway. He had he'd been in hospital for a long time, basically pretty much in a coma. So I guess a hospital induced coma, as they call it. They put him, you know. But my mom was like, don't pay attention. That wasn't your dad. That wasn't him really talking. That was the medications. But still, like you said, that's a hard weight to carry.
Yeah.
That's a hard burden to say, that's what you got left of your dad, you know? Oh man. And there's a lot more story to this, but that's one of the things that really stuck out to me when I heard this song. I was like, my God, that made the hair stand up on me. Actually, I was like, oh man, it's a good song. So good. For those who need somebody to speak for them or say something that they can. I mean, music's that. I mean, music makes you feel like you actually have a friend, and makes you feel like you're not an outcast, and makes you feel like somebody is there for you who accepts you for who you are, no matter sex you are, no matter what race you are, no matter what anything you are, it's there for you.
Yeah.
So, kudos to you guys, man.
Well, thank you for saying all that. And man, you know, sorry to hear about your dad, man. It's crazy because we hear so many of these stories, and there's a lot of people that have just gone through a lot. And so we you know, we hope that when we're in their area, they come out and hang out. We don't care if you buy anything from us at our merch table, man. If you just want to come and just say what's up to us, you know, high five. If you just need somebody to talk to, or if you're just like, man, I don't really know about all this praying stuff, but dude, if you want to pray for me, man, that'd be like, I'm down to do that. And you know, I'm like you, man. Music, it hits me like some people don't care about music, and I don't understand those people.
Me either. It's
like for me, music, bro, that's like,
yeah, that's it. It's like, I know people who don't like music, and I'm going, how do you do everyday life if you don't like any type of music in your life? I mean, what do? You just sit and bang on stuff and scream and yell? I mean, a video game's not gonna, you know, to me, I used to play video games like nobody's business, and I have not touched a game console in over 2 years now.
Shoot, I had to quit playing video games because I had little 8-year-old kids cussing me out, making me feel some type of way about myself.
Oh yeah, I can't do.
Like, what? Is that even a word? They're cussing me out in different languages. I'm like, how kind of 8-year-old talks like that? But
yeah,
Like, dude, I'm not playing this game. I was playing Call of Duty and I had all these people cussing me out, bro. I was like, dang, dude.
Dude, I was playing a game earlier today, and I got to a point where I was like fixing the rage. I was like, I couldn't get it. Right, I'm gonna make some music real fast, and that's how I wound down, was like listening to music and making music.
I had like a 12-year-old kid telling me, I'm your daddy. Well, I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy. I'm like,
man.
maybe he is my daddy. I don't know. Like, whoa.
I've said this to a million people. The album that pulled me through my darkest hour was Master of Puppets by Metallica. I've said that through so many interviews that if I probably got to meet Metallica, I'd probably cry like a baby, because there's so much with that album that affected me. And it's weird, Joseph and Weston, how it comes back around when you least expect it. That album pops up again and makes you think of something that you went through. And it's like, when I finally got to see them live, I cried to the first two songs. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, because everything was just like it meant, like it was finally at peace and I could move on.
Yeah.
So
That was a great album, man.
So weird of a time. I know you said that this is the best album you guys have made to date, but do you think the band is finally hitting its maturity finally? Because I know so many bands talk about it's taking us 15, 20, 35 years to finally hit that stride, and that blows my mind. But do you think this band has finally hit that stride of maturity, or no?
Honestly, I just think we're more open-minded, and that's so like there's two ways this can kind of go. You can get older and get more closed-minded and just be like set in your ways. Or you can get older and go, you know what, man, maybe, I did some good stuff, but working with other people and getting as many hands on it, maybe not as many hands on it, because you don't want a bunch of cooks in the kitchen, but some other talented people to help to pull that out of you, just like producers do. We've worked with producers that have pulled stuff out of us that we didn't even know we had, but and that helped us grow. But I'm talking about like other musicians and other songwriters, and I feel like through the years we've just become more open-minded, and maybe part of it was maybe I need to look inward and be like, dude, I kind of wanted it to go a certain way, and I don't want to say I was a control freak, but maybe that's what it was. Maybe I just kind of wanted it like, okay, this is our sound, and like I don't care, this is our sound. And so to me, that's like when I look back on it, I go, dude, that think about how much more cool stuff you could have done if other people were able to really express the way they wanted to. I had to really look. That's like an indictment on me, man. I had to deep dive, dude, and just go, this is what I do for a living. I play music for a living. How many people can say that, and how many people want to be able to say that? And here I am, dude, blessed to be able to do this for a living, and I'm not willing to grow because I'm only going to go as far as I can, of what I have. But when you start bringing other people into it, man, there's so much cool things you can explore. And that's what happened, I believe, with 7 Day Slumber. Maybe I matured and said, okay, I'm going to be more mature and be like, you know what, this isn't about me. Let's do this. And I feel like that's what happened, is I just got more open-minded, and I was able to let go a little bit and just be like, actually, I let go a lot. I just free fell, like, all right, guys, let's do this. Whatever y'all want. And then they started bringing stuff, and I was like, dang, dude, this is sick, dude. Got me excited, got me hyped up, bro.
I didn't really feel, because I haven't been here for a duration.
That's fine.
Like,
That's fine.
Speak if it was like a, if anything, I can just say I've grown comfortable. Like I want to be versatile, and I want to be flexible, but comfortable in my role. And so it's like where it's like the maturity of whatever, it's like I haven't reached my maturity as a writer. I plan on still growing and getting better, but I feel like I don't know, we're just working as a well-oiled machine right now.
Yeah.
And we all, it's not this huge stressful thing. We write songs like, hey, check this out, I like that, and we just kind of get stuff done, and we all just enjoy and believe in the music we make.
We have fun playing together.
Yeah.
Like that's what's cool about it. Like I have a good time playing with these dudes, man.
It's not like Stuart from Mad TV. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. What led the track "Death by Admiration" to be the first song released off this album? What was it about this song that said that's got to be the first one to be released? Because I mean, you know just as well as I do, guys. There could have been other bangers off this. It could have been one.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I mean, you sent that song. I mean, you sent the several songs.
Yeah, Death by Admiration was whenever I first joined Seventh Day. I wrote the instrumental for that song as an exercise to see if I could write a Seventh Day Slumber song. So that was the first song I ever intended for Seventh Day Slumber, because I grew up, I was the gent kid, like Periphery and Sugar in my room with a laptop trying to make gent songs. And so my background was like technical metal, and I was like, oh, I'm in Seventh Day Slumber. Can I even write this stuff? And so Death by Admiration was like, that was an exercise to see if I could write it. And so
and we dug it. We were like, dude, this is awesome. So Telly from The Word Alive reached out to us, said he was down to do a song. He was going to be in Nashville. Actually, we reached out to him. We saw he was going to be in Nashville. I'm like, hey, dude, what's up, man? You going to be in Nashville? And he's like, yeah, man. He reached back out and was like, I got some time if y'all want to write. We're like, great. So we sent him a couple of songs, and he's the one that we sent him like 3 songs that Weston had done. And Telly was like, dude, this one, I can write to this. Like, I feel this song. So we met up with him at the Universal Music Group studios up the road. That's who distributes Seventh Day Slumber. So we went to the UMG studio and we started writing with him, and Death by Admiration just came out, and we decided all together with Telly that this needed to be the title track of their whole record, because we just loved it. And then we wrote another song with Telly, one of the other ones that Weston had sent, called Light the Way. He featured on the Death by Admiration song, not the other one.
Are these all brand new songs, or songs that didn't make the previous album, or maybe that was left in the vault, possibly?
Solemn Oath being the one in the vault.
Yeah, Solemn Oath would be the only one. That was yeah. We've been wanting to put that on a record for a while, and so that's my dog walking in here.
It's all right. We got a mascot for the interview.
He's too short to get in the shot. That's on. He's an English bulldog. But anyway, and you can hear his little fingernails on the hardwood floor. But no, Solemn Oath, we've been wanting to put that on a record for a while. And I think you just kind of vamped it up a little bit. Jeremy did most of the guitar.
Because I don't remember how old that song was, but I remember when I first joined the band.
8 years old.
Blaze showed me that song, because Blaze was kind of the one pushing for it to be on the album, and I heard, I was like, we should do it. And if you hear the original demo, vocal wise it's different, but musically it's pretty similar. I didn't do much to it. I followed the bass line and then maybe put my little idiosyncrasies of my playing in there, but it was a great song from the get go. I didn't touch it. You know what I mean?
I love hearing stuff.
All new we wrote together. We all just were like, all right, let's do this.
I love hearing stories like that, because everybody's like, oh, these are brand new songs, when you find out there's one that was left in the vault for 8 years.
Yeah,
8
maybe
years,
longer.
and it's now making an album that is insane. So I love hearing stuff like that, because there's stuff left in the vaults, folks, that's been 10, 15 years old, and it's now just seen light of day. It just don't fit those albums when they first make that song. So,
and we're playing that one actually on the Fozzy tour.
There you go.
It made the tour as well. So,
was there a track that you guys are working on that totally ended up sounding different than it was intended to, or did they all stay the same? Was there one that just kept changing and changing?
I think so. Light the Way musically, that one was it was very, very technical and very crazy, kind of my gent showing. And technical and crazy can be fun, but the song suffered from it.
Oh.
And the feedback was, we can't really sing over this. And I'm like, that makes sense. And so like every aspect of that song, if it's the original demo versus the new one, it's like the alter ego. Like it resembles it, but no two things are the same. Like the intro is different, the verse is different, the chorus is different, the bridge is different. That song had musically, not like vocally, but musically the biggest like transformation. But that one, but most of the other stuff was like from the demo version was fairly similar. And I think another song, Snake Mouth, that one was actually an old song that I wrote years ago. It was a metal song called Calling Home. And Blaze was the one that was like, hey, we should make that onto the album or whatever. And so that one was reworked because, like I said, I had like my tech metal tendencies in that song. It had a really weird structure. And we and Blaze helped me like flesh it out into a full-fledged song.
I had never heard it, so to me it was a new song.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, dude, this is cool. Let's go with it." The other one that he's talking about, "Light the Way," I heard it and I was like, "Man, this is a lot. It's good. It's technically amazing and cool to listen to, but I didn't know where I would sing in that song." And so I told Weston, I was like, "Man, can you make this like just give some room to breathe in it?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." And we came back and that turned out to be one of my favorite songs.
I'm way more proud of the version we had now than my original version of it.
The original version was sick though too. It just didn't fit what we were doing. If it was
an instrumental song, it would have been neat.
Yeah.
But it didn't work. It didn't gel as like a whole, piece of vocals.
It was a Herbie Hancock. I don't know if you remember who Herbie Hancock was.
Yeah,
that song, Rocket. Dun, 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 dun. No, you're not feeling it. Oh, dude.
I don't know it.
I'm too young, man. Young bloods, dude, in the band.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe throw it on a B-side as an instrumental, or maybe you can put on another album as an instrumental, as a hidden track, something like that. Maybe.
I tracked final guitars for that one version. So
yeah,
if we wanted,
that'd be funny.
Yeah, because I have
people would love it.
Yeah, I have the whole file for the first version of the song somewhere.
That's a great idea, dude.
Yes, sir. I throw stuff out there like that, man, because I love seeing how demos end up from infancy to almost there, but didn't make it because just because of just one guitar riff, maybe just threw it all the way out. You know what I mean? I love seeing stuff like that to see what the actual song ended up as.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
But for you guys, when you're putting songs out and you're seeing all these responses back, either negative or positive, do you like seeing that feedback to where you can say, okay, next album, not so much of this, a lot more of this? Or do you just say, okay, it's our music, let's just go for it?
No, I mean, we love the feedback.
Yeah, we
do. We want people to be excited about the music. I know that a lot of the being here in Nashville, there's a lot of people that kind of have the mentality like, well, dude, I just write for me. I write for me, and that's just, it's my thing. And so, but for me, I write as an outlet for me, for sure. But I also write as an outlet for other people. And I want, and if it's a song that I'm writing, or it's a way that we did it that could have been done better or more, I don't know that. Yeah, I guess better is the only other word. Like, I'm down to do that, and that's why I love hearing other people's.
I think with me, because you could write for yourself as an outlet and be proud of it, and only you will appreciate it.
Yeah.
To me, the best challenge, the most rewarding challenge, is writing something that you believe in, that my band members also believe in and vibe with, and that everybody else believes and vibes with. Because I'm not knocking writing for yourself and writing the music you like that, do that.
Yeah.
But I want to reach people. I want to be effective. I want people
right.
to make a difference. I'm not going to be like, oh, this person didn't like my song, let me change the whole thing. But it's kind of a fun, not tightrope, but it's a fun line to rise. Like, how can I have all these things in mind and make something that I'm very proud of that everybody else can resonate with? And I realize that the songs that mean the most to me do that. Like songs like Halos, because musically I'm proud of it. Everybody else gets on with it, and it has a great response.
Yeah.
I know these are your babies, but any track standing out more to both of you than any right now on this album? Like I said, I know these are your babies. It's hard to choose from, but what songs are sticking out for the both of you?
On this one, because I'm trying to think.
I think I know my favorite three, and the order changes, but it's Halos, Fatal Love, and Death by Admiration. I have different reasons for each one.
Sure.
Halos for the emotional part. Musically, Fatal Love is my favorite, and kind of not emotionally, but Death by Admiration is special because it was kind of my first song that I wrote for the band, and it ended up going as far as being the title track. And obviously, I love them all musically and emotionally, but for different reasons. You know what I mean? So they all have different reasons why I love them, but I would say those three.
Yeah, my Halos is probably my favorite of the harder tracks. We only have one soft track on there, and I would have to say that song probably means. I mean, and you said it, they're all our babies, but the one that probably means the most to me is a song called Can't Say Sorry Enough. And that is the oddball on the record. It's an acoustic, just acoustic and cello. But I wrote that song to my wife because, you know, I told you I was a drug addict, and I didn't know my wife at that time when I was like a criminal too. Like I wasn't just getting high every day. I was doing dirt, man. I was locked up. And so, but then after, you know, I and I'm not getting like super spiritual with you or anything, but like after a suicide attempt in the back of an ambulance, I became a Christian. I gave my life to Jesus, and that started this whole transformation with me, like changing. But what a lot of people didn't know is like then I met my wife, and we've been married for 23 years, right? And she's my best friend in the world. I got 3 amazing kids, and we do, and that kind of stuff. But 10 years into our marriage, even, you know, as a Christian, dude, I became an alcoholic. And I can't tell you how it happened. I can't tell you whatever. It was just like I went through a tough time. Like, just because you believe in God or like are a Christian doesn't mean you don't go through tough times like anybody else. And for me, I ended up picking up a bottle, and it wasn't a problem until it was. And I hurt my wife, man. Not physically,
Right.
But emotionally, I hurt her, man, and I hurt my kids. And to see me that way, and I don't even want to tell you how much I was drinking because you wouldn't believe me, but I was functioning, and that's a trip. But anyway, I hurt my family, man. The most important people to me in my life, my wife and my kids, man, and I hurt them, dude. And my wife never turned her back on me. I mean, never, dude. Like she was there through thick and thin. I mean, she's bailed me out of jail, bro. Like, this is a woman who never went through the things I went through. She ain't about that life, you know what I mean? And then, but she was there for me. And the song I Can't Say Sorry Enough or Can't Say Sorry Enough is just about that. Even though I know she's forgiven me, even though I know she loves me, even though I know she's never left me when she probably should have, I still can't get over the fact that there's these thoughts in my mind where like she should have left me, and like she's too good for me, and so that song, man, there's a lot of, I mean, there's hard rock and metal on this record, and you're gonna turn it up to 11, and you're gonna want to, you know, you're gonna want to catch stuff on fire, bro. But but don't do that, by the way. But man, there's emotional stuff in here. Like, this is a raw, real, honest album, and yeah. So that would be my probably my favorite, or the one that means the most to me.
Would you guys say the pandemic helped the band to take more time to be more creative on this album, or no?
I mean, I think the pandemic opened up a lot of emotion. Like it was just like seeing what was happening. I think it made a lot of people more in tune with like their pain, because you're seeing so much other pain happening around the world, and then so you like take a look at, and it makes you like get in touch with the stuff that you're dealing with as well. And but I know everything kind of shut down, but we took we just took off and did shows anyway. Like we played outdoor. Remember when everybody was doing the drive-in concerts and stuff? Like we have a big LED wall. Big shout out to Refresh LED, by the way. They literally Refresh LED literally gave us a big LED wall to go and do this. But we saw there were a lot of hurting people that still wanted to hear music and still wanted to have an outlet. And so we went out and and it was kind of weird. Like people would be pulled up in their cars and listening to you play it, and you couldn't like necessarily interact with the people, at least at first.
Yeah.
When we first started doing it. But we still stayed on the road. But to answer your question, I think that emotionally it opened up some stuff for us that really helped to write.
Okay, so this album was produced and mixed by, like you said earlier, Kellen McGregor. He's worked with Memphis Mayfire. So let me ask you this: working with him, did he get something out of you guys that maybe working with somebody else might not have gotten on this particular album?
You see, it's tough for me to say because this is my first experience making an album, so I don't really have any other producers to compare it to. The process was a lot of fun because it wasn't like on this album. It wasn't like we went to Kellen's studio and made music there. We made demos and we all agreed on like an arrangement we liked, and we kind of approved of our parts to each other. And then I just, like, for me, I laid down final guitar tracks or some production things here or there, and we just sent it to Kellen, and then Kellen kind of like
added his
he added his
special sauce.
He glued it all together.
I will say though, I have worked with Kellen, like on this record, Death by Admiration. Blaze and Weston did a lot of the producing they did a lot of the writing and producing. Kellen co-produced it because once they sent him what they had, then Kellen started adding like the underneath tracks and like adding the effects, and like
we gave him the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, and then he just went boom and put a special sauce on it. But I've worked with Kellen, so I am biased with Kellen because that dude has taken some of our stuff and made it sound like it wasn't like that before. And so that was before that wasn't, Weston didn't have the opportunity to work directly. Well, he worked with Kellen, but not in the studio. Now our next record, which is called Feasting on Vultures, it won't be out till 2023. Our single Halos is doing really well right now on radio, so we're excited about that, and we're promoting the Death by Admiration album, and we're touring that with Fozzy, and then we have another tour we're going to announce for November that people are going to love. But anyway, Feasting on Vultures will be in the studio with Kellen, and that's one where he will be actually hands-on producing the record. But his mixing, though, I got to say this to all the viewers. That dude's mixing, he also mixed the album. He mixed the whole entire album. We've worked with a lot of people, a lot of mix engineers and stuff. That dude has a gift. He is gifted. Even Brad Blackwood, who mastered our album, and Brad did Korn and Slipknot, and he's even done Bruno Mars and like all genres. But Brad even wrote me and said, dude, who mixed this record? And I've sent him other records that were mixed by top-notch dudes. And I was like, it's a dude named Kellen McGregor. He plays guitar for Memphis Mayfire. He's like, this guy is sick. So shouts out to Kellen McGregor. We love you, dude. And
absolutely, Memphis
Mayfire is killing it right now.
Yeah, Brad also did, let's see what else did. POD, Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, dude. 21 Pilots.
Yeah, 21 Pilots, Skillet. There's
Yeah.
another huge one. Jesus.
Yeah. He's done so many of these. He's a Grammy Award winning.
Oh yeah.
I love working with Brad. The nicest dude too. Nicest dude ever.
He needs to be on the podcast so we can talk about some
Well, man, I'll reach out to him for you, bro.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So who did the artwork for this album, guys?
A guy named David Joseph, two first names. So David Joseph, he I've just known him for like, I don't know, 15 years. He used to work, if you look at the Pirates of the Caribbean movie posters, there's this skull that's really well kind of known. Everybody from the old school Pirates of the Caribbean, he designed that. He created that skull. And
Oh wow.
the Pink Panther movie poster where it's like just all white, and then that he created that movie poster. But he's worked on like Garth Brooks album, the graphics, and like hard rock, and from jazz to you name it. But he's just a friend of mine. He doesn't live too far from me, and he does a lot of our graphics. And him or Ryan Clark from Demon Hunter, who's done like 4 of our albums. But David Joseph did the Death by Admiration one, and did an amazing job.
What do you both hope everyone takes away while listening to these new songs, or just any of Seventh Day Slumber's music in general, guys? What do you hope they get from it?
I gotta think about mine.
I'll edit it. Don't worry. I got you.
What people take away from it, what I hope people take away from it
Mm-hmm.
is just a sense of knowing that they're not alone. We obviously want them to love the music, but just a sense of like, I'm not alone, and that I'm loved, and not just by us, but by God. And others people probably watching, going, dude, I'm not into that whole God thing, and that's okay, man. Like it is what it is, But that's what we believe. And so, but we want you to know that you're loved, man, and that we've all been through things in our lives. And so give yourself a break a little bit, man. And it's okay to forgive yourself. I know there's a lot of, and I'm just saying that because lately a lot of messages that I've been getting are from people that have done things they wish they didn't, and they wish they could take them back. And they're living with that. And so I would say that I would hope, that would be my hope for this record, that people would know that there is forgiveness, not just by us and by God, but it's okay to forgive yourself.
What he said, I can't say it better.
That's fine, man. Don't worry about it. So do you both I'm sorry, I'll edit this out. Goodness gracious. I know that you guys had a lot of music when you both were growing up, from your infancy to middle school, adulthood, all that good stuff now. But do you still have that go-to album or a song, guys, that you find yourself going back to and listening to from time to time that you just cannot kick out? You've got to go back and listen to it eventually.
Dude, I gotta Rage Against the Machine was one of my favorite bands. Metallica was one of my favorite bands, and some people, a lot of Metallica fans may not agree with me, but and Justice for All was that was one of my, I love that record, and I still to this day put that record on, but I don't know. Then I have to Soundgarden, dude, Rusty Cage, man, and I don't know. I that's a hard one, man, because I'm all over the place, man. Then I'll have Third Eye Blind, with How's It Gonna Be, like that record. I'll go from Rage Against the Machine to Third Eye Blind to Counting Crows, and then and then back to some Alice in Chains or something like that. And then I'll go and then I'll put some Skillet in, and it's crazy. I don't know. But I would say old school, probably I don't know. That Third Eye Blind record has gotten a ton of play, and it's not even heavy. It's just a old school modern rock album. But I don't know. Metallica or Rage Against the Machine would be the two bands that I don't know, dude. You got me on that one. I should have been more prepared.
You're right. You're fine.
I think with me, like my dad grew up in the 70s and 80s, so I picked up a lot of 70s rock. The first Boston album, I can always revisit the first Boston album. And then later on, I got into a bunch of crazy metal. Destroy Your Racing Proof from Meshuggah, particularly the track Future Beam Machine. Like, if that song plays, I get hype. Like, I get hype. That song still inspires me. I got into really some underground bands in the 2000s called like Endorphin, Look What I Did, then Periphery, later on. And, like any albums by those bands, I can always just like sit in and just kind of melt into. And that's my comfort. That's my home,
There is one more band and one more record it's almost 20 years old. This record, it's hard to believe it's almost 20 years old. But Story of the Year's Page Avenue record. If you haven't heard that, dude, that record, that's a banger. And I've listened to that record countless times from beginning to end. Story of the Year, Page Avenue, and a buddy of mine plays in that band. But anyway, that record is great from beginning to end.
Joseph, has Seventh Day Slumber met your expectations at this time, or is it just scratching the surface for you?
I feel like I know every band's supposed to say, yeah, but I really feel like we've just started scratching the surface of what I have this new excitement, man. And I may be in my 40s, but I've got this new excitement that with these guys writing, and it's just a new excitement. I feel like we're just scratching the surface. I really do. Lots to come. I
want to ask this, and you can answer this if not, Joseph, but I want to know, because me and you got a lot of stuff in common here. But when did you realize that music was your drug? When did you realize that, hey, I could turn to music and it's worth living for now? When did you realize that possibly?
Well, when we're talking about finally coming to a place where music helped me in a good way, I think with Metallica, I just keep going back to them. Is there an iconic band not just for they are an iconic band, but not just for everybody else, but for me, that band, that was when I grabbed my guitar. I hated myself. I hated life. I hated everybody. And I grabbed this Sears and Roebuck guitar that my mom got out of the Sears catalog. That was a copy of Kerry King's BC Rich from Slayer. And because they were another band I listened to a whole lot. And, but learning Metallica on that guitar was so therapeutic for me that I think that's why I keep going back to Metallica. And it's funny that you're wearing the shirt, because this is exactly what I would have said if you were wearing a whatever else, shirt. If you're wearing a Slayer shirt, I would have still said Metallica. But it's like that, having that guitar in my hand and playing, even Master of Puppets. That's another one. And I could never get it right, and it wasn't even that hard to play, but I just, I never played it right. But dude, it was just an outlet for me. It was therapy for me, and it made me not think about anything else that was going on, but just being able to yell out the lyrics and
and
that would be it.
And for me personally, Master of Puppets, that album, it was my anger. It was my voice. It was my, like you said, it let me escape because I was so angry with just everything, because I couldn't, make my dad better. I couldn't escape it. It was real life. I mean, you think your parents are indestructible. You think they're Wonder Woman and Superman. For some people who have it real good. I'm not,
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
And for the ones who don't, I pray for you, honestly.
Yeah.
But that album, man, was just like, it was my anthem to go fight.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to know, because things like that interest me, because I wonder if if there's anybody else out there that had the same thing like I did, if that's what sparked them too. So cool.
Yeah. There's just so many songs in I've been alive a long time, so there's so many songs out there that have just kind of met me where I was at the time, and there's so many bands that just like Soundgarden, I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. Dude, I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, and so I'm with you on that. And when it's funny that you said that was like your anger for you. You said something else too earlier that is the same thing of what you just said. It's like music gave you a voice.
Yep.
And there are some people that they're not good at expressing themselves, and that's cool. Music can be that for them, and that's
it's powerful.
It is, dude. It really is, man.
It is. And that's what I say to everybody who comes on this podcast. I don't care if they're national, I don't care if they're indie, I don't care who they are. But somebody's out there listening to your music, and you're making a difference in their life. You're making a difference in those people's lives, because now you are on the pedestal of being, I'm helping that person out like this band helped me out. So it's like I said, the ever revolving door.
Yeah.
Stuff. So, all right, folks, you want to get out and pick up Seventh Slumber's new album. It's out right now. Death by Admiration. I've talked so much today. Death by Admiration. You want to pick that up? Also, check out their single Halos. Please give this band a fair shot, and I guarantee you will like this band. So, guys, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy this new album, this new single, and catch you on tour with the mighty Fozzy here in the next couple weeks. How can they do that?
SeventhDaySlumber.com, just spelled out SEVENTH, Day Slumber, SeventhDaySlumber.com.
And before I let you go, would you guys care to do a promo for my show?
Sure, man.
Hey, this is Weston.
Hey, and I'm Joseph with Seventh Day Slumber, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Keep it locked.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link, and do not forget to subscribe to that YouTube link, because we got a lot of great stuff coming up for you guys and gals out there. Also, please check out Seventh Day Slumber. Pick up their new album, Death by Admiration, and the new single, Halos. And like I said previously, catch them out on tour with Fozzy. Give this band a fair shot, folks. You will not be disappointed. So, Weston and Joseph, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck. And you're welcome on here anytime you want.
Thank you, brother. It was an honor.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.